Hey you guys, welcome back to my podcast. This is Across the Tongue. I'm Leilani. I'm here with a very special guest. I'm here with Daniel Juarez, which is my sister's ex-boyfriend, aka Satanic Rule. Yeah, I know, we'll talk about that shortly. Anyways, we talked about Twitch, we talked about his family, we even tested his gaming skills. So stay tuned because this is episode 3, interviewing my sister's ex-boyfriend. Hey you guys, we're here with my sister's ex-boyfriend. I'm interviewing. His name is Daniel Juarez. So how are you feeling today?
It feels pretty good. Pretty good.
So this is your first podcast, right?
Yes, it is.
So how do you feel to be on your first podcast with your ex-girlfriend's sister's podcast? Do you feel any weird about that, or you just?
It's a little weird, but but I mean, that was like so many years ago.
Yeah,
I have a wife now. You know, I'm married,
yes,
got kids.
Congratulations, by
Thank
the way.
you. So I mean, we're all adults.
Right. Right, Amber. Anyways, so I wanted to talk about our WTF moment. So that means, like, you know, what the fuck moment that happened, you know, during this week that you experienced, or you were like, what the hell happened? If you want, I can go first. So basically, yesterday, I have an ear infection. So yesterday I went to the doctor's and I told them, you know, I'm here for an appointment. And then they're like, okay, here, wear the mask. And I was like, okay. I don't know why I have to wear a mask if I have ear pain. She's like, oh, you're contagious. So I wore the mask. I went to the nurse office, whatever, and they told me, oh, why are you wearing the mask? The doctor was telling me. And then I said, oh, the desk lady said I'm supposed to wear it because I'm contagious. You're like, you know, you have ear pain, right? Ear pain's not contagious. And then I was like, the lady at the desk told me, like, was it Megan? It was Megan. And he called up the nurses, like, go tell Megan to stop sending out masks and whatever to our patients. I was like, oh, I don't know if her name is Megan. No, it's Megan. It's her first day today. So I was just like, okay. That was my what the fuck moment. It's just, I don't know. I was stupid myself for even wearing it if I knew I had ear pain. But anyways, what is your what the fuck moment?
My what the fuck moment is probably literally a time that I said fuck. I was streaming on Twitch with my son. I do a series every Tuesday. I stream with my son called Beard and Chin. And when I stream with myself, I try not to cuss or anything.
Yeah.
But no, when I stream with myself, I do cuss.
Okay.
But when I stream with my son, I try not to cuss. And yesterday when I streamed, we were playing snipper clips and something happened. I don't remember. You can probably find, if you watch it, you probably see it when it happened. Something happened and I was like, what the fuck? And then oh, I didn't mean to say that. I
meant to say something else. Okay, so right now we're gonna go straight into the interview. So on your Instagram and on your stream account, you're considered as Satanic Rule. So what's your background story about that username or that tag name?
All right, so it has nothing to do with like religion or anything.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
Christian people don't come after me.
But I came up with the name during high school, and I was like dark kid. I still wear all black, I guess. But listen to metal and stuff, so it was all about Satan and stuff. But
okay.
It was on for Xbox. I had an Xbox account called Daniel the Manual. Because that's what my brother used to call me. To mess with me, he would call me Daniel the Manual. So my Xbox account was Daniel the Manual. But one time, for some reason, my older brother put his credit card number on my account. And I don't know why he put it. I don't know whose it was. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I used that credit card to buy games. Okay? And so my brother, I guess, got called from his credit card place, and they told him, did you make these purchases? And he said no. So he canceled his cards, and he didn't know that I spent the money, and I didn't know that was his card.
Yeah.
And then I guess it went back to Microsoft, and Microsoft put a ban on my account because they thought I stole the credit card.
Yeah. Oh,
so after that, and I was a kid, so I didn't know what was happening or anything, so I had to make a whole new Xbox account. And I had so many achievements, so many gamer points and stuff, and I had to start all over, and I had to come up with a new name. And it just came to me, Satanic Rule.
And you're like, why not?
And that's how I have that name.
Well, now we know. So just in case if you guys are curious, that's his AKA nickname for that. I wanted to know, tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, what you do in your life and your spare time.
I got a full-time job.
Okay.
I paint airplane parts for the military.
Oh.
Internal parts, so you never get to see my designs.
Just putting it out there.
But on my free time, I mean, I come home to my wife and kids, watch TV, play video games, and I have a Twitch account that I stream on every so often. I try to do at least 3 times a week.
Okay.
And yeah, play video games for other people to watch.
And then you mentioned you had a Twitch account. So people that don't know what that is, do you mind explaining what it is, that Twitch account?
So Twitch is something kind of like YouTube, but it's live streaming. So like YouTube, you post. I mean, you could do live streaming on YouTube too, from I've seen. But on Twitch, you stream straight up live. You play video games. You could actually do anything. You could. There's also a category of IRL, in real life. You could just stream yourself walking around, going to the park or whatever. But mostly people do video games, and you just. People who want to sit down and watch people play video games.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, I saw your episode from yesterday, and then I was able. What I didn't know is you were able to like chat and write some stuff in it, and then you get to read them, which is really good. I liked it because I wrote like certain things, and you said it out loud.
Yeah.
Like I basically said, like you were playing a video game with you know, your son, which you guys should go and check it out. It's really good.
Satanic Twitch.com/Satanic Rule.
Please follow. No, but it's really good, and it's just like you play these really awesome games, and I feel like that series that you do with your son, which we will get into, is really good. So what made you want to become a streamer on Twitch?
I mean, I love video games. It's something I've loved forever. Played video games with my brother, my parents, and I've seen like I have some. There's some YouTubers I follow, like Peanut Butter Gamer or Space Hamster. I don't know if anybody knows about them.
Oh, Tony.
But I love watching them play video games. Oh, okay. And I was like, there's got to be other people like me that love to watch people play video games, and I love playing video games. So I was like, why don't I play video games for an audience?
Yeah.
You know.
Which is really good, by the way. Kudos to you, because like I don't know if I would do that. I'll be like cussing the whole entire time. I don't think no one would watch that.
I mean, some people. I mean.
Honestly, yeah. Wait, no, I'm gonna do it. No, just kidding. Since you said that you've been playing video games for a while, what age did you fall in love with it? Do you remember the first game that you played with?
The first game that I could remember playing is probably Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh, okay.
It's a game for the Super Nintendo. I don't know if anybody knows about it. You guys are all probably too young for that.
I do not know.
It was for the Super Nintendo. Probably, I don't know what year it came out. It probably came out before I was born. Probably like a year before I was born. I don't know. I don't remember. Someone will correct me.
Right in the comments.
But it's basically like an arcade, like 2-person shooter. It looks straight up like an arcade game, but it was a home console game. And it was made by LucasArts, which no longer exists. As a video game company.
Shout out.
But you basically you play as a kid. It's a 2-player game.
Okay.
You play as a kid who wears 3D glasses for some reason. I guess it's like based on the 80s or something, where people used to wear those 3D glasses everywhere. And you have to save your neighbors from being eaten by monsters. And the first level starts with zombies. And it was one of those games where it didn't save. There wasn't like checkpoints or anything. Well, you would get passwords every couple of levels. You get a password. And that's how you start back at that level. So like if in the first 4 levels, you'll get a password. And then you keep playing, then you get another password to start back at that point. But every time you die and you lose all your lives and you start back at that point, you start there with none of your weapons. Like nothing, completely nothing. Yeah, you can get a bunch of weapons up to that password, but if you die and go back to there, it doesn't start you with the weapons you had. The first weapon you have is a water gun. That's it. But the zombies die with 1 hit with the water gun. What was that?
Oh no, go on. Continue.
Well, other monsters take more hits, and yeah.
And then, do you ever want to like play it back again?
I do have connections because it's old games, and my TV that I stream with doesn't have the 3 input connections, the AV connections. Yeah. But I bought a wire that allows it to connect. And I got it to work one time, so I might play that eventually. I was thinking maybe like during Halloween or something.
Which is really good, yeah. Do it. I would watch it. So sorry, but
it's a really cool game. Anybody should check it out. So check it on YouTube or whatever, where you're listening to this.
Yes. Sorry. Do you feel a certain amount of pressure since you started a streaming account, or you don't feel any kind of pressure?
I do feel a little bit of pressure just because there have been like strangers started supporting me and stuff, and they like what I do and stuff. And so like when I don't stream, I feel like they're not gonna watch me again because they're like they want to keep watching me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I want to stream every day. I'm exhausted sometimes coming home from work.
Which is like, it's a lot. I mean, you're a mother for two. You're a wife. You're a husband. You have your wife. You have 2 kids. You have a full-time job, and it's just like balancing all that. I don't know how you do it. I mean, it's a lot for you.
It's pretty difficult, but I try my best.
Like, I'm really trying. You're just looking at your wife.
I try very hard, and like I said, I try to stream at least 3 times a week. And the other days, other than Tuesday, it's always like a different day. But Tuesday for sure, I do stream every week.
Okay.
And that's Beard and Chin with my son.
Which is really good, by the way. Go check it out. I already said it.
Twitch.com/satanicroom.
Okay, so what are new and exciting video games you're planning to do on your Twitch account? What have you done on your Twitch account?
I've done a game called Death Row to Canada. Played that by myself.
Okay.
That's like a 2-person... It's kind of like an arcade dungeon crawler type game.
Okay.
Resource management also. A bunch of words that people probably don't understand if people don't play video games. Mm-hmm. Basically, you got to get to Canada because the world is overrun by zombies, and for some reason, Canada is the only place that there aren't zombies.
Oh, yeah.
Which I would believe that would happen.
Okay.
And but I wanna. I did play that by myself. Mm-hmm. I didn't make it to Canada. You have like 15 days. You have to make it to Canada, and I died like with 7 days left.
Oh shit!
And
like almost there.
And when you die, you start over. You can't.
You can't just like start where you're at.
I want to stream it with my wife because we made our own characters. You can make your own character in it.
Okay.
And give yourself like certain traits and certain perks and stuff to make you different from other people.
Damn, I would make myself like really skinny, big boobs, big butt. I'm just kidding, but.
And I played that game. And so I'll probably go back to that like during Halloween again, like I said, for Zombies Ate My Neighbors. And I played We Happy Few. It's a game, another like, not really an apocalypse game, but it's like, it takes place in Britain or London or what's the actual country? What's the name for the country? England?
I'm stupid, so I'm like, United States.
Well, basically, the government made a drug that keeps everyone happy and hallucinating the world to be a great place. And, and your character decides to stop. It's called Joy, the pill. And your character decides to stop taking it. And it's like against the law to not take the drug. Okay. And people find out and you have to escape and you have to like try to... as far as I went, it doesn't really explain what you're trying to do.
Oh, so
but right now you're just not taking your drug anymore.
So what's so behind the scenes, being a streamer, you are like a husband and you have 2 kids. What are the struggles and difficulties of having, an account? Do you have to have a certain amount of followers in order to have it, or do you feel that it's only a short time, or what are the difficulties or struggles? The
difficulties of streaming would probably be to because our kids are loud. I don't know if you've heard the streams before. When I stream it myself, you can hear my kids.
We live in apartments too.
Yeah, and where I stream, I'm right next to a window, and it's like the common area for like the apartments. So kids are always running by and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you'll hear kids yelling and stuff, playing in the background of my streams.
Like, just know it's mine.
But it's kind of hard, and I feel kind of bad every time I go stream because I have to go in my room and lock the door. And I tell my wife, I always kiss my wife before going to stream. I give her a kiss, tell her I love her. And I the same thing with my kids. And I have to tell my kids to like not knock on my door and not yell for me for a bit. And like to go ask mom for anything. And it always feels bad because she's watching them throughout the day and stuff.
Yeah. You have a really good wife then. Damn. But I told Victor that. No, just kidding. He's like, no, just kidding. No, but so on last week's episode, on my next question is, on last week's episode, you played a video game called Overcooked with your son. What was that experience sharing something that you're very passionate about with your son? Was it very, memorable? You feel like it's very important to share those moments with your son?
I remember growing up as a kid playing video games with my dad. It stopped after a while. It was Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I remember playing that game with him. Okay. And it stopped after a while, and I don't want because I love video games. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop playing video games. My dad was from a different time, and it makes sense that he stopped playing video games.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna keep playing video games in my life, I want my son and both my kids to have memories of them continuing to play video games with me.
Yeah, and it's like they get it from you.
Yeah.
which is like really sweet. So on that very same episode, you were doing a little series with with your son called The Beard and Chin. So I just wanted to know, what's your backstory on that? Why beard and chin? Like, obviously you're the beard and then your son's the chin, which is super adorable.
So yeah, I have a beard. I've been growing it for almost a year already, right? I've been growing this beard for a year already.
Are you planning to make it go longer?
I want to, but I looked it up and I need like oils and stuff because it's not growing longer anymore. So I need more stuff to help it grow.
Oh, okay.
And my son does not have a beard.
Obviously.
He has a chin. But
he's only 5.
He's only 5. 6. He starts growing some facial hair.
The name came from because a while back, before I wanted to start a Twitch channel, I was thinking of starting a podcast actually.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to make a podcast with my son. It was going to be like a general topics podcast, just like about the world and stuff. And I wanted people to hear the perspective of an adult and and on the same topic that I was discussing, a perspective of a child.
Oh my God, that would be, yeah.
So people could see the differences between the two on the same topic. But and I was like, podcasts usually have like these really cool names. People come up with like your podcast, Across the Tongue. That's a really cool name for a podcast.
A lot of people are like, that's the lamest name I ever thought.
That's a really cool. That's a really cool name. Very creative, and it makes sense and everything. And so I was like, what can I name the podcast? And it just came to me. I have a beard. My son has a chin.
So you mentioned that you wanted to do like a podcast with your son. So is there any projects that you wanted to do besides streaming? I mean, you already do a lot as it is, which is like insane how you're managing all that. Is there any projects you're planning to do or bring up or?
I mean, maybe one day if I can find out how to, like, if you guys could like teach me how to do podcast stuffs. I have problems with Twitch. I'm not very tech savvy and stuff, and sometimes my stream like lags and stuff, and I have to like change some like different numbers and stuff on my computer. But beard and chin. If I ever started a podcast, I'd probably do a beard and chin, like what I just explained. And then I had another idea for a podcast. No one better steal this idea. Okay. It was gonna be called. Hold on, I need some water. I don't know if you guys can hear my throat.
No, you're totally fine.
Really?
Sponsored by water. No one steal this idea, okay? I feel even weird saying it because I've only told my wife and my brother this idea.
Okay.
Going back to video games, it was gonna be called Gotta Cast 'Em All.
Damn.
Okay.
It's already good.
It was. I mean, if anybody knows anything about anything, I'm pretty sure you know what it's about.
Was it gonna be like Pokemon?
Yes, it was gonna be about Pokemon. But what I wanted it to do, I wanted to have a guest every episode. I mean, it can have repeats and stuff. And there's more than 800 Pokemon now. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
And I wanted. I would pick a Pokemon for that episode, and the other person would pick a Pokemon for that episode. Any Pokemon they wanted. And then we had to do our research throughout the week before we do the episode of all their stats and stuff. This is based on the video game stats and stuff, so not on the anime. All their stats. Every Pokemon has different stats. And I want them to pick their Pokemon they want, their nature for the Pokemon, their second nature for the Pokemon, and their IVs. I don't know if anybody knows any of this terminology.
A little bit.
All their IVs, where they want their IVs and their EVs.
Okay.
For whatever stat they want. And then we were gonna. I was looking up, and I don't know if the website actually exists for a Pokemon battle simulator. I would have to probably create one or something.
Create one? Okay.
Well,
I mean, you're doing it like starting up. Like, holy shit.
But we would pick one, pick the Pokemon we want, the stats and everything. And then it would be different categories throughout the episode. We would talk about. So, like, my turn, I'd be like, I want this Pokemon. And then it would be like, the first category would be like the look of the Pokemon. You explain why you picked that Pokemon based on its looks, and then you go down to the stats and what natures you picked, and why you picked those stats. And then I wanted attacks also. We picked what 4 attacks we want on your Pokemon, and then the next person's turn will do the same thing for their Pokemon. And at the end of the episode, we have the Pokemon battle and see who wins.
Damn, that sounds like really good. How come you don't want to do it? Like, how come you don't want to start doing that? And like,
you hear how freaking complicated that sounds?
But honestly, it sounds really exciting. I mean, like, if you think about it, and then, like, who's gonna do that and do all that work and then
now that someone heard the idea and who's better with a computer than me is gonna create it and get rich.
You're welcome. So you were mentioning that you wanted so you were doing a streaming account. So I wanted to know how you balance it all. You know, being a father, being a husband, and having a full-time job and doing stream. It's just, that's a lot. What I
Drugs.
just said. Wait, what?
I'm just kidding.
I was like, not sponsored.
I'm just kidding. I'm straight up sober. You can ask my wife. You can ask my family. I don't drink and I don't do drugs. I'm square.
Wait, you never had a drink in your life?
Probably like once, but I don't drink.
You like almost died.
Really?
I think I'm allergic to alcohol, to be honest.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah. Because the times that I have drank, it just didn't go well. So I think I'm allergic, and I don't like it anyway.
Oh, well.
The other time I did drink was our anniversary. But we both didn't like it.
Yeah.
Champagne.
I think I remember that. You guys were like at a cabin. I was like,
Big Bear.
Damn, all fancy. I'm like, when are we going, Victor?
It was nice. It was really nice.
It was free. Well, not the cabin, but the champagne.
The champagne was free because we told them we were there for our anniversary, and then she's like, wait a second. She went and she brought us champagne.
Now I know what to say.
And it snowed that night, remember? Oh my god, it was freaking beautiful.
Every night we were there, it snowed.
Every time we woke up, our car was covered in snow. Then we walked that trail, remember? Oh my god, I want to go back so
By the time we
bad.
came back, it was all melted.
Yeah. But it was beautiful. In the village, when we went to Big Bear Village,
Yeah.
freaking beautiful. You guys gotta go. Sponsored by Big Bear.
But how do you really balance it?
My wife helps a lot with it. Just her being there, her supporting me, and her love just makes my kids too. But not really. I'm just kidding. No, just
really,
seeing my
wife.
kids, seeing my wife. You know, it helps me be able to stay sane after everything I do, going to work, coming home, streaming, trying to work on my computer and stuff. Because I get really frustrated when working on tech stuff. Like I said, I'm not tech savvy at all. And
him too. Yeah, we always know.
I get frustrated because I don't know how a lot of stuff works on a computer.
So the next question I wanted to ask you, is there certain problems that you faced that you weren't ready for? You know, like obviously, you know, like being a father, was there certain obstacles that you faced being a father? Like certain things or that you learned and that you overcome as a father?
Just being responsible for a human.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And then being responsible for yourself, which is also a human. And making you being the reason that they eat, the reason why they're clean, the reason why they have clothes.
Yeah, just everything.
Everything is all because of you, and that's really hard. And it sucks when you can't get some stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel that you're more appreciative of what your father did for you? Do you think of that since now you're a father, you realize it's like you appreciate a little bit more the sacrifices your father and your mother did, or anything like that, or not really?
I don't know if my parents are gonna hear this. They might.
We'll cut it out if we need to.
To be honest, I know they did a lot of stuff for me when I was a kid, but like in my teenage years, I feel like they did a little less for me. But in more recent, they've been helping a lot more. Now that me and my wife live on our own in an apartment with our kids, they help out and stuff with just everything.
Which is really good. But with that being said, do you feel like you learned from that experience, the fact that your father wasn't really, or your mother wasn't really there in your teenage years? Do you feel more motivated to being there all the time, 100% throughout their lives? Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have kids young. I've always wanted kids. I knew I always wanted to be a dad. And I wanted to have kids young so that when they're like at their teenage years, I'm still young enough to be there, like more present with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like in my what, mid-30s we
When he turns
come?
18.
When my son turns 18, I'll be like in my mid-30s. That's young and still good.
Yeah.
To be chilling with my son.
Right? So, how did you meet your wife? How did you meet your wife and decided to start a family?
Well, those two things happen very far apart from each other.
Oh yeah, so let's separate those. So how did you meet
I
your
met
wife?
her in 9th grade, actually.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yes.
We met in
He's
9th
correct.
grade. There was like 9th grade retreat or something, right? They took us to a park
yeah.
or something. I don't know what they were trying to teach us to do, like be good to each other or something.
Mhm.
They took us like a field trip to a park near the school,
Okay.
and my ex-girlfriend at the time
Your best friend.
was her best friend and introduced me to her.
Oh, okay.
And that's how
wow.
we met. And when I saw her, I was like, she's beautiful.
Man, she's beautiful. I thought you were gonna say, damn, she has big boobs. Or something, you know, like during that age, like you're going through like that, like cycle and stuff. Like, I really thought that. I'm so sorry. I'm not looking at her boobs. Like, oh my god.
And
But
then
anyways.
we didn't start talking till what, 10th grade?
I think so.
So the next year we didn't start talking. It was MySpace at the time. I don't know if anybody remembers
Damn,
MySpace.
yeah. Mhm. My emo days.
On
You
my
went there and tried to make your wallpaper.
Right?
on MySpace, I don't remember what it was called. Were they called events?
I don't know.
What were they called?
Statuses.
Was it the statuses? There was a thing called status.
Uh-huh.
Because it wasn't like Facebook. Like everything you post wasn't always for everyone to see. Everyone, it was like everyone had their own website.
Yeah.
That's what MySpace
It looked
was.
like that, yeah.
But if you posted a status, everyone got to see it. Or everyone on your friends page would see it. It would pop up like next to their like homepage. And she posted that she was bored and she wanted someone to talk to. But that, again, that was to everybody, so it wasn't to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It was to everyone that was her friend. And I sent her a message saying, I could talk to you.
I'm bored too. What's up, girl?
And she sent me her phone number, and then we started texting.
Damn. And then when did you guys decide that you guys wanted to have a family? Was it like very instant, or did it take some time?
There was a time in high school, I don't remember what year. Were you gone already? Because she left in senior year. She left.
Like 11th grade.
She left at 11th grade.
Oh.
the ending of 11th grade, wasn't it?
It was like the middle.
In the ending of 11th grade, she left the school to go to another school because she lived with her grandma, and her grandma, you guys moved away, right? So she moved away, and I don't remember when I told you. It had to be when you weren't there anymore. I told you that you were gonna have my kids one day.
Damn, but like it's gonna happen, girl.
Already at the time, we liked each other. I'm pretty sure I liked her way more than she liked. I don't know if she even liked me at the time. She probably just told me she did. I told her I liked her, and I told her, you're gonna have my kids one day. Thinking back on it now, that's something you don't say to people.
Honestly, yeah.
Don't say that to anybody, guys. Don't say that.
No, but that's like a funny story. It's just like it's crazy, like how that happened, and then look at you guys now. You have 2 kids, beautiful kids, by the way, and you have a wonderful family. So it's just like it's this background story. It's a very funny story that you guys did start, and then ever since then, when you guys like got really together and started talking about it, it just happened, right?
Yeah, but I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel a certain amount of pressure being a father and a husband, or not really? You're like, nah, it's all good.
It probably has to do with like, what is that word going around? Toxic masculinity.
Oh, okay.
Where I feel, since like I'm the guy of the house, I feel like it's my job to keep everyone happy, and I try my best to do that. But I mean, you know, not everyone is happy all the time.
Yeah. It's just he looks at his wife. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And it's hard, like again, going back to like doing a bunch of stuff myself, like full-time job and trying to do Twitch and stuff. It's hard to come home and try to make everyone happy and stuff.
Yeah.
That's just another thing on my plate that I have to try to do.
Okay. Well, let's go on a lighter note. Like we're getting really deep about that. But what certain traditions that you do with your family that you never did with, you know, Daniel as in your family, but now you do with your family and your kids? Could be like picnics, camping, vacations, certain things.
We go, starting last year. But the camping thing, we've started that last year. We do a week-long camping trip, but that's with my immediate family, my wife and my kids, and my parents and other family members. We all go camping. That's actually like in 2 weeks. We're actually gonna do that. So we go to Yosemite for a whole week, and it's pretty nice.
Damn, lucky. When are we going?
but me and my wife and my kids, we started 3 years ago, but for some reason last year we didn't do it. Or this year we didn't do it. Yeah, we moved into our apartment, so we didn't have enough money to do it. But what we did, it was in March of every year. We would take it was like a week long too, huh? We would go a week to San Diego.
Okay.
And
you guys would, it was like a whole week, or just like a weekend?
Yeah, it was a whole week.
Damn.
And we would buy this thing. What was it called? The Fun Pass or something?
San Diego Go Pass.
San Diego Go Pass. Look that up. It's not a bad price. And
what
it
is,
is,
not just for San Diego.
It's not for San Diego. A lot of cities have it. I think San Francisco has one too.
No, but remember the one for San Diego? You could actually use at Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, that was weird. But a bunch of cities have it. Right. It's like a program, and it's like a company, I guess, the Go Pass, whatever. And it's for a bunch of cities. And what that card is, you buy it and you put time on it. So like we bought it for 3 days, right? And it came out to like $300.
I think so.
And what that is once you okay, what it is gives you access to museums, it gives you discounts on restaurants, and it gives you access to like theme parks for those 3 days that you pay for it.
Yeah.
And it's just boom, it's like your ticket to go in. But yeah, once you use it for one of those things, the 3 days start.
Okay.
So when we get there, we always go to the Children's Museum first. That's the first thing we go to. And once we used it there, the 3 days started. So the next day we went to Legoland.
Oh.
And then SeaWorld.
And then SeaWorld.
The zoo and the safari park.
And then zoo and safari park.
Damn, you just go on.
Yeah, and you pay, and it's $300, and you go to all those things. You can do them multiple times for the amount of time you buy it, pay for it.
Damn, that's not that bad. We're doing that next week. Anyways, so I'm gonna go on to my next question. So, my father at a very young age walked out on me and my sister, and later on I met my stepfather, which is Caesar, which he changed both of our lives. He became a better father than my biological father, and because of him, he just changed my life for the better. So I admired, you met a beautiful woman and had a startup family and was willing to step in and provide for your son. So I have a question. For that question to be said is, I wanted to ask you, how did you felt that your son was distant, getting to know him, or did it just become natural? Or do you want to share your story about that?
Well, just to explain, because I don't know if you said it, my son is not my biological son.
Yeah.
But I met him going back to. Well, I didn't meet. I mean,
I know.
His wife is here, Haley.
I'm sorry.
The first time I had any, I guess, view of him was when I saw Haley once when she was pregnant with him. And then I saw him again months later, before he was 1. He was a baby, couldn't even walk yet. I met him.
He couldn't even crawl.
Couldn't even crawl. He was on the bed. And that's when me and Haley were talking. It seemed like we were getting close and probably going to get together. My son's 5 now, so this is before he was even 1.
Okay.
And I fell in love with him when I saw him. He was beautiful. He was
beautiful
adorable.
Child.
And he wasn't like scared of me or anything. Haley told me that he wasn't really close to guys.
And it just became natural, for your son. I call you your son because I feel like you did step in and you're being that father for him, that father figure, which that's how I see it in my eyes. I mean, for me, it's because the reason why I say your son is because how I see my stepdad. Like, it's weird saying that he is my dad, and I know he's not my biological dad, but it's just he provided so much for me, like a better life, a better thing I experienced. Because where I was at when I was younger was like a really bad time, especially with my mom. Like, she was a single mother after that, and I had to work 3 jobs just to support me and my sister, and it was just hard. And then we met Caesar, which is incredible, supported my mom. It's just amazing. And to know that your backstory, with your wife and what you're doing, and just you're there in that house to keep everyone happy. And that's what I really admire about you, and kudos, man, kudos.
Thank you.
So I wanted to mention, my younger brother. So I wanted to mention my younger brother. He has, a different dad, which is my Caesar, my stepdad, from me and my sister. What we are most afraid of is him finding out that, he has a different dad from us. Is there any advice or any reaction how to deal with the same situation with your son?
Well, the thing is, we were kind of talking about it earlier. Mm-hmm. My wife's grandma doesn't like me. And when my son got old enough to kind of understand more complicated concepts,
yeah,
she told him that I wasn't his real dad.
Oh my god.
And now he doesn't do it anymore, but for a while when he would get mad at me or when we would punish him, my son would tell me, "You're not my real dad."
Are you serious?
Yeah, and that was pretty. It hurt.
No,
it would hurt.
Yeah,
it would hurt me a lot. My wife could vouch for that. She would know. She would see how my face would turn, how my face would change when he would say that to me.
Do you feel? I just think that in a way, like, they're young. I feel like they don't understand what's going on. It's like what you were saying, that concept. So
Yeah.
I understand why it would frustrate you and bother you.
But he doesn't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And he never stopped calling me dad or anything. He always, he always saw me as dad. I was the only one there,
Mm-hmm.
But he had this thing in his mind where he had this idea that I wasn't his dad. And I know when he gets older, I don't know if it's still going to be there or if we're going to have to tell him one day or something. I'm pretty sure he is going to be all right.
He's going to be a good kid. So, you have dealt with like different past relationships and things that or even life and like stuff like this is going on with you. What is your best advice to your children about love? What advice would you give your children about love or about relationships? It could be relationships like with exes or relationships with like, with friends. And
this goes out to my kids and to everyone. Find yourself someone that you really like and tell them you're going to have their kids. Don't do that.
Seal the deal, kids.
It's surprising that worked with me. But again, it happened when I told her that years later we got together. Anyways, don't do that. Love shouldn't be complicated. It's as simple as I like you, you like me, we like being around each other. That's as complicated as it should get.
Okay.
If it's any more complicated than that, it's probably best to do something else about that.
Figure something out. So now we ended our interview with you. So now we're going to play a game called Spill the Tea or Take a Shot. So basically I'm going to ask you 3 questions and you can only say no to one of them. And if so, you're going to have to take a shot of something disgusting. So, let them spill the tea. So the first question I'm going to ask you, Daniel, is out of all the ex-girlfriends, who was the worst one? And it's okay if you say my sister.
I'm not gonna say any names. I did write the name down, but I'm not gonna say the name just in case she ever hears it. But when I explain the story, she's gonna know it's her. So in middle school, when I moved in with my dad, because my parents broke up for a while, they're back together now. It's a weird love story they have. There it is, too complicated. Anyways, he lived in South Central for a while. I don't know if anyone knows where that is. It's a very ghetto place. I don't know how it is now, but I lived there in middle school. I don't know what year that was. I don't know. Probably 2011 or something. It had to be somewhere around there. I don't know. I lived
further than that.
Further than that? I don't know what year it was. Okay, guys. I lived in South Central, and then I had to start going to school there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started going to school, everyone was in a gang. In middle school, everyone was in gangs.
Damn.
And I don't know if anyone knows me, if anyone's seen me, if they ever see my Instagram after finding me interesting. I'm very light-skinned. Okay. I'm Mexican, but I'm very light-skinned. What the heck? And people at that school thought I was white, like Caucasian.
Oh.
And right there on the spot, they decided to hate me.
Oh, damn.
And everyone wanted to beat me up. Now, I met this girl there that I liked her, and I wanted to be with her. And I didn't know anything else about her. At that age, I don't know if people, like in middle school, you're like, oh, let's get together. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to know anything about them. People just got together.
There you go, seal the deal.
I didn't know anything about her, like I just said. And we got together. And then I find out later that she was with like a leader of a gang. And she broke up with him for me.
Oh, fuck. Damn.
And they already hated me.
Oh, shoot.
So I got really close to getting beat up a bunch of times. And I was always scared.
That's where you got satanic rule.
And then she would break up with me all the time. But me being a dumb kid would always get back with her. And then she'd break up with me to get back with that guy. Mm-hmm. And she was just bad.
Like bad news, major bad news. And that's the worst one. So now we're gonna go into our second question on spill the tea. Let's see if he spills it this time. Let's see if he does it on this time. Who would be the least person you would want? Oh wait, who would be the least person you would want on your stream, on your Twitch account?
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to think about that. But I mean, everyone hates Donald Trump right now. So I'm gonna say Donald Trump.
Yeah, why not? So my last question is, what was the reason why you and my sister broke up?
That's so weird. I don't know. It was so long ago, so many years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were just bad for each other. We were kids. Yeah. And it was always on and off, and we were just... It wasn't good.
So congratulations, you didn't take a shot of something disgusting. Yes. So now we're gonna play another game. Oh, so in this game, it's called I Know My Shit. So basically, these questions are video game based questions. And we're gonna be Oh, you're trying to see my quiz?
No. It's like the sun is beaming on it. I can't even see it.
So I'm gonna ask you 10 questions, over 10 questions, and I'm gonna test your professional gaming skills to see if you're a professional gamer or an amateur gamer.
You didn't give me time to study though, so.
We didn't give them the questions, so it's a surprise. So here's the first question, and they're multiple choice, so I mean you have a chance. So the first question is, in Uncharted 4, the video game, which PlayStation 1 title does Nathan Drake play? Does he play A, Mortal Kombat, C, Crash Bandicoot, or C, Final Fantasy 7?
It's B, Crash Bandicoot.
Damn, yeah, you got it right! Play music.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. So next question. Oh, I should write how many you got right. Okay. So how many power stars can you collect in Super Mario 64? Is it A, 120, B, 110, or C, 101?
A, 120.
Damn, you got it right again! Come on, tech guy, keep up. Play the ding ding noise. No, I'm just kidding. In what year was the first game in the Halo series released?
Oh, shit.
Was it A, 2000, B, 2001, or C, 2002?
Oh, shit.
We have audience here that's trying to figure it out, too.
I played it so much.
Write in the comments what you guys think so you guys can play along, too. So, I'll read it again.
I know it's not 2002.
So
it's one of the first ones. It's 2000 and 2001.
Okay. I'm trying not to smile. I'm nervous.
I'm gonna say 2000.
No, 2001.
Oh man, but I was like, it really came out the same year as 9/11.
We're a low budget podcast, so we have to make the noises ourselves. So, question.
Do over. No,
What is the highest selling home console of all time? Is it A, Nintendo Wii, B, Atari 2600, or C, PlayStation 2?
The highest selling like.
Home console, yeah.
Okay.
Is it the Wii, Nintendo Wii, Atari 2600, or C, PlayStation 2?
You know what? I'm gonna say PlayStation 2.
Yeah, you're right.
The reason why I know that is because the PlayStation 2, they didn't stop making them till like way into PlayStation 3's life cycle.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, because people were still buying games for PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, they were making PlayStation 2s and PlayStation 3s at the same time.
FYI. So now next to question 5. What console was the first Final Fantasy game released on? Was it A, Xbox, B, Sega Mega Drive, or C, Nintendo Entertainment System? So A, Xbox, B, Sega Mega Drive, or C, Nintendo Entertainment System?
C.
Damn, you're right again. What kind of questions am I doing? I'm trying to get them wrong. So, in the game Metroid series, what is the name of the main protagonist? Is it A, Solid Snake? Is it B, Samus Aran, I think? I don't know, guys. So
Aran.
Oh, there you go. He got it right. Ding, ding, ding. So, next question. In The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, how many Triforce shards do you collect? Is it A, 8? B, 6, or C, 3?
Okay. The thing is with this question, are you talking about the HD remake or the original?
Fuck, I don't know.
Because they actually changed the amount.
Okay, so what do you think it is? I mean, it's okay then. I don't know. You can get it right or wrong.
Because people complained about the original.
Tell them both.
Tell them both. Tell them it was both.
Because people complained about the original being it was too hard to find all the pieces. So in the HD remake, they made it less.
Oh, okay. Maybe in the original. How much was it before?
I believe it was 8.
Yeah, you're right. Ding, ding, ding.
I think they made it 6 or even less than that in the HD remake.
So to the next question. Which one of these 3 songs were not on the original track list of the game Guitar Hero 3?
Oh,
so you should know this, Daniel. So was it A, When We Were Young, The Killers, B, Miss Murder AF by AFI, or C, Pork and Beans by the Weezers?
I'm going to say A.
Was it on the
Yeah,
guitar?
it wasn't on it.
No, it was. You're wrong. How dare you? Yes, she was right. Your wife was right.
You know that.
That's correct.
You played Guitar Hero? I played it too, but I don't remember the songs. I just remember playing. I remember the buttons. That's all I remember.
That was like the emo game of like our
I'm not really into music. I liked playing the game because I liked to hit the notes at the right time. I wasn't really listening to the music. I was just looking at the dots coming down.
Damn, tell us what you guys think in the comments. So next question, we have 2 more. In which of the following is not the original Ghost from Pac-Man? Is it A, Winky, B, Clyde, or C, Inky?
What's the first one again?
Winky.
It's C.
No, you're wrong. It's Winky.
What?
It's Winky.
I could have sworn Winky was
I
on
didn't
there.
even know they had names.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't know either, yeah. So we're now we
I just thought they were colors.
Yeah. Blue, orange.
I thought Winky was a character. I knew Clyde was because it's the only one that doesn't rhyme with the other ones.
Yeah, and the other one is Inky. Yeah. Next question.
Oh man.
Last
That's it. My Twitch is over.
Right.
I'm never playing video games again.
So next question. What is the name? Wait, what name did Mario debut in 1981's Donkey Kong game? So is it A, Jumpman, B, Luigi, or C, Plumber Man?
Green Mario. No, I'm just
Wait,
kidding.
what? I was like, it's not on the list.
Jumpman.
Yeah, you're right. Ding, ding, ding. I mean, you only got like 3 wrong. I mean, that's the end of that game, you guys.
3 wrong?
You only got 3 wrong.
Man, that's
yeah.
too much.
So he's still certified a professional gamer. You guys should go still check out his account. I'll be linking everything down below. So I just want to let you guys know that'll be all for today. I wanted to thank my guest, Daniel. Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me to be on this.
How did you feel on today's podcast?
It felt pretty good. It felt like just talking, you know? It just felt like a conversation.
Yes, it's normal. It's normal here on this podcast. So I'll be linking his information, stream account, social media, everything down below in the description. Make sure you guys get him to 50 followers. Yes, follow him. Watch his videos. Are really amazing, especially the beard and chin.
Twitch.com/satanic rule.
So I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys so much for coming back again and listening. I'm going to be mentioning my next week's guest. Actually, Daniel's going to come back on.
What?
And he's bringing his older brother, which is my ex-crush that I used to have on when I was younger. And my sister is going to be the co-host on that show, so you guys should go and check it out. It's going to be really amazing.
It's going to be very weird.
Yeah, very awkward encounter. So, hope you guys come back next time. And this is Across the Tongue, signing off.